If you've been waiting until you feel ready to create an online course, you might be waiting forever. And that's exactly why so many brilliant course ideas never get made. Maybe you've had an idea sitting in a notebook or the notes app on your phone for months, maybe even years. But every time you think about starting, the same doubts keep rolling in. Am I qualified enough? What if I don't know enough? What if someone asks me a question that I can't answer? What if other people are already doing this and better? So instead of creating the course, you tell yourself you need another certification, another year of experience, another client, another achievement, something that finally makes you feel qualified. But here's the truth. Most people aren't waiting to become ready. They're waiting to become confident. And those aren't the same thing. In this video, I'm going to show you how to know if you are genuinely ready to create an online course and the signs that you've probably been overlooking. Why waiting for confidence might be the very thing stopping you from helping the people who need you the most. Hey, I'm Hayley and welcome back to the Insert Here project. This channel is all about helping entrepreneurs, course creators, and businesses create what they know into valuable, profitable assets, whether that's a course, a digital product, a personal brand, or even just help with their business. Today we're talking about one of the biggest things stopping people from creating their first course. Not technology, not platforms, not marketing, not pricing, but the belief that they're not ready. And honestly, I understand, because creating a course feels different. When you create a course, you're putting your knowledge out into the world. You're saying, this is something I know. This is something I can teach. This is something I believe can help people, and that can feel incredibly vulnerable. So let's talk honestly about what it actually means to be ready. I think one of the biggest misconceptions in the online education world is the idea that you need to be the world's leading expert before you're allowed to teach. And if that's what you're waiting for, I have some bad news. You're probably never going to start because expertise is a moving target. No matter how much you learn, there will always be someone who knows more than you. Always. There will always be someone with more experience, more qualifications, more success, more clients, more followers, more credentials. And if that's your standard for teaching, nobody would ever create anything. The truth is, teaching isn't about being the best in the world. It's about being able to help someone move from where they are to where they want to be. That's it. Think about like as a hiking trail. The person standing 1 mile ahead can help the person behind them. They don't need to be standing at the top of the mountain. They simply need to know a few steps ahead. And that's how most education actually works. You don't need to be 10 years ahead. Often being 1 step ahead is more than enough, because you still remember what it actually feels like to be a beginner, and that is really valuable. This leads us into one of the biggest misunderstandings about expertise, because many people are looking in the wrong place entirely. I want you to think about something. What is easy for you today that you used to find difficult? It could be bookkeeping. Could be parenting, it could be about photography, it could be about running a business, maybe it's creating content, maybe it's knowing a particular software. Here's the interesting thing. Because it feels easy to you now, you've stopped seeing it as expertise. You've normalized it. You've forgotten what it felt like before you actually knew how to use it or do it. And that's exactly why so many people underestimate their value. The things they know become invisible because they're familiar, but they're not familiar to everyone else. A few years ago, I remember helping someone with what I felt was something incredibly easy and obvious, and I explained it in 5 minutes, and their response was like, "Oh my God, you've saved me hours." I actually remember thinking, really? Hours? Because it felt so simple to me. But that's the point. The thing that feels simple to you is often represented years of accumulated experience, years of mistakes, years of trial and error, years of learning. And that's exactly what people pay for. Not for information, but for perspective. So if qualifications aren't the answer, what is? Here's the question I believe that matters the most. Can you consistently help someone achieve a result? Not theoretically, actually. Can you help someone solve a problem? Can you guide them through a process? Can you help them avoid a mistake? Can you help them reach an outcome faster than what they would have on their own? Because that's really what education is. It's not about knowing everything, it's about helping someone make progress. Let's say you're a graphic designer. You don't need to know every single design technique ever invented. You simply need to help someone achieve a specific result. It could be creating better social media graphics. It could be designing a logo. Maybe it's helping someone build a brand kit. The goal isn't comprehensive knowledge. The goal is practical transformation. And when people understand that, course creation suddenly feels much more accessible. Here's another reason I think people delay creating a course. And honestly, I think this one probably runs a little bit deeper. I don't think most people are afraid of creating a course. I think they're afraid of what creating a course represents. Visibility, judgment, exposure. Because the moment you launch a course, you're no longer thinking about creating. You're thinking about being evaluated. People might disagree. People might criticize. People may not buy. People might ignore it entirely. And that's uncomfortable because here's what I've learned. Every creator you admire has experienced those feelings. Every educator, every author, every speaker, every entrepreneur. The difference isn't confidence, the difference is action. They moved forward before they felt ready. Because confidence isn't something you have before you begin most of the time. It's something you build because you begin. And that's a very important distinction. Let me give you a different set of indicators. You're probably ready to create a course if people regularly ask you for your advice. You're probably ready if you've solved a problem for people multiple times. You're probably ready if you've developed a repeatable process. You're probably ready if you've helped friends, colleagues, clients, or co-workers achieve a result. You're probably ready if you find yourself saying, "That's so easy." Because what is easy for you may be transformational for somebody else. And perhaps most importantly, you're probably ready if you've been thinking about creating a course for months, but keep finding reasons to delay. Because sometimes the issue isn't readiness, it's permission. And maybe no one has actually given you that permission yet. I want to tell you something that I wish more people understood. Your first course isn't supposed to be perfect. It's supposed to teach you. Your first course teaches what your students actually struggle with, what questions they ask, where they get stuck, what works, what doesn't, what needs improving, what needs expanding. Your first course is not the final version of your expertise. It's the beginning of becoming scalable. And when you view it that way, the pressure starts to disappear because suddenly you're not trying to create the perfect course, you're trying to create the first version, and that's a much more achievable goal. So, how do you know if you're ready to create an online course? Honestly, you may never feel ready, and that's okay, because readiness isn't a feeling, it's a decision. A decision to stop waiting for perfect. A decision to stop comparing yourself to someone who potentially is a decade ahead. A decision to trust what you know has value, that you can help people, that you have knowledge you've already earned, because somewhere right now, someone is struggling with a problem you have already solved. Someone is searching for answers you've already found. Someone is hoping a person like you exists, and they don't need the world-leading expert. They need someone who can help them take them to the next level, the next step. And maybe that's you. And maybe you've been ready longer than you actually realize. I'd love to know, what's the course you've been thinking about creating? Not someday, not next week, not eventually. The idea that you've been sitting on for years, maybe months, maybe longer. Share it below. And if you're interested in course creation, online education, and building a business around what you know, make sure you subscribe, because that's exactly what we talk about here on the Insert Here project. Thank you so much for watching. And remember, you don't need to know everything. You only need to know enough to help someone take the next step. that might be a lot closer than you think. I'll see you in our next video.